What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Kai, and welcome back to another video, man. Today we got an exciting one, man. We're gonna be talking about my personal wish list for NBA 2K24. But before we get into it, man, do me a favor, pause the video, go down to the comment section right now and let me know what your wish list is for NBA 2K24. But before we hop into my wish list, if you're new to the channel, do me a favor, go down and hit that subscribe button, man. Roll to 1,100 subs. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the wish list. So I got a few things on my wish list. We might be jumping around a little bit. I didn't make this wish list in any particular way, if that makes sense. I just kind of thought of everything that I think that they should change or add to the game. A lot of it touches base on like my career, city kind of stuff, and then a little bit talks about my team and my NBA, but it's like 97% my career and the city. So with the first thing on my wish list, man, I think 2K needs to change the rebounding attribute. It makes no sense as to why we have an offensive and defensive rebounding attribute. Any player that you've seen in real life play basketball that is a good rebounder, they can rebound the ball on offense and on defense. It does not matter which side of the court they are on. If they're a good rebounder, they can get the ball regardless. So why do we have two different attribute categories for rebounding? I think they should just be combined into one, because it puts our player at a disadvantage when we're playing in the city or rec or wherever we are. If we have good rebounding, then we are not getting offensive rebounds. And I'm talking about easy offensive boards, bro. Like, I'll be boxed out and in position and the ball will literally come like directly in front of me, but because my offensive rebounding is low, I cannot get the ball, and then the small guard comes in front of me and then they grab the ball when I could have easily had an offensive rebound and a putback right there. It doesn't make sense as to why those are separate categories. Next up, I think 2K should add multiple faces for different my player builds. Now this kind of resonates a little bit more with content creators, because different creators make different builds, or this could apply to people out there that like making different builds too, because anybody, if they're trying to make multiple builds, or if they're a content creator and they're trying to create different characters and have different backgrounds and stuff and just get creative with their content. Somebody like Hoodie Sean, he makes my career videos and he has different players. You want to separate those characters, man. You don't want them to all have the same face. They got different names. You may want to try to get creative with your storytelling and make them have different stories. They play different positions. You want them to have different faces. And also, anybody that's a content creator, if you're making NBA player builds, you're making a Kevin Durant build, a Luka build, a Kyrie build, these players all look different. Nobody wants to make all these players look the same and have the same faces, and nobody wants to go through the hassle of switching accounts every time they want to make a different NBA player build. Like, it's really a hassle. So they should let us make different faces. Like, give us the option. If we want to use the same face scan, let us do that. If we want to make a different face, or if we want to use a different face scan, let us do that for each build. The next thing I think they should do for NBA 2K24 is leave the shooting the same. Shooting was perfect in NBA 2K23, man. At the beginning, it was perfect. Mike Wang did a poll. He asked us how we felt about the shooting, and over 50% of people said it's great, leave it alone, don't touch it. They touched it anyway. If you don't know, in the beginning, it was green or miss. You had to green your shots to make it in 2K23. It's no longer like that, but that's what it was in the beginning. And me personally, I'm a fan of that. I don't think players should be rewarded for badly timing or mistiming their jump shot. Like, you got to get in the lab, you got to work on your jump shot, and you got to learn it. Like, it's very simple, and I think that's how it should be. But some players don't like that. You may not even mistime your jump shot that poorly. Like, you might get a slightly early or a slightly late, and that's not mistiming it horribly, but I still think it should just be green or miss, because that just shows how well you know your jump shot. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of players may not agree with that. Like, everybody is not going to put the same hours into the game, and if they can't make a jump shot, or they just not good at shooting, then they're not going to have fun on the game. So another thing that my cousin suggested is, like, it would be hard if 2K had like a different game mode online for people that want it to be that competitive. So if you want it to be green or miss, then you should be able to go to that mode and play online with everybody else that wants to play green or miss with their jump shot. And everybody else that wants the slightly to go in and all that, it should be a separate online game mode for that as well. So you can pick how competitive you want it to be. So like, if you want to call it a ranked mode, then I guess you could do that or whatever, but it would be tough if 2K could implement something like that. But if they want to make it really competitive, I think it should be green or miss. They keep telling us every year they want to widen this skill gap. if you're gonna do that, you should keep it green or miss. You can't widen the skill gap and you're rewarding players for missing their jump shot. Like, you're kind of contradicting yourself. The next thing I think 2K should do is bring back the My Court. I don't know why current gen has the My Court and next gen doesn't have the My Court. It's just convenient. If you load up into the My Career and you automatically in your house My Court, whatever you want to call it, then you have your My Court right there. And it's just another place that you can, you know, do different things in. You can run drills, shooting drills. You can invite your friends to play one-on-one right there. Like, I don't understand why we didn't have this for both gens. People like the My Court, so keep it. It's a hassle to have to go to the Gatorade facility, invite your friend just for y'all to play one-on-one against each other. The My Court just simplifies a lot of that. And then if they can do something to fix the latency, like we all know that if you want to practice your jump shot online, the best place to do it is in the Gatorade facility. Like, if you go and practice it in Pro-Am, like the closest thing you will get to how your jumper will be in the city playing park is practicing it in the Gatorade facility. Now, if you practice it in the My Court on current gen, it's not going to be the same as practicing in the Gatorade facility. I don't know what's up with that in the latency or whatever, but it would be nice if no matter where you go to practice your jump shot, if it's the same in, you know, both online play and wherever you're going to practice it, whether that be the Gatorade facility, you know, the Brickley gym, My Court, wherever. It would just be good if it was all the same. Another thing I think they should add is a jump shot tester in the animation menu. So you go to the custom jump shot, you make your jump shot, and then there should be a button we could press to instantly test out that jump shot to see how it is. Because right now we have to create the jump shot, back out, go all the way over to the Gatorade facility, and then practice that jump shot. If y'all play Call of Duty, y'all know how they have the firing range. You create your class right there and you press a button and boom, you're instantly in the firing range and you can test out that weapon and see what the recoil is like, and you can make tweaks to it right there, man. You go back to your class, make your changes, and then you go right back to the firing range at a press of a button, and you can see what that did. You can see if you like that weapon better or not. We should have something like this to test out our jump shots. It's a hassle to have to go all the way over to the Gatorade facility just to test the jump shot out. Speaking of jump shots, let's get into these builds, man. So I think they should make cheaper builds. Right now in 2K23, it's easily well over $100 to max out a build if you max it out to 99. Now, granted, you don't have to max out everything because there's some categories you may not need depending upon what the build type is. If you make a guard, you probably don't really need post control. So that's obviously something that you're not gonna really pay attention to putting your attribute points towards. But I think they should have cheaper builds. And if 2K, I understand that 2K is a business and they have to do whatever is best for the company and they have investors to please and all of that good stuff. But if they're not gonna make builds cheaper, like, you have to remember that not all of the fan base can afford these expensive builds. You know, you got kids out here that might get the game for Christmas or birthday or whatever the case is, and you know, mom and dad is not going to spend all this money on different builds for them to max out. And they, trust me, younger kids, they're going to mess up some builds. So, you know, they might have to go back and try to ask their parents for more money on a new build because they might have messed up, and mom and dad's not going to give them that money every time. It's not cheap to max out a build or, you know, to upgrade a build in general. So what I think 2K should do is I think they should have a refund system. What do I mean by that? I think 2K should allow everybody to have a refund on one build. So if you mess up that build, which is the case for a lot of people, because when the game comes out, everybody is trying to figure out what works the best. And you know what I'm saying, somebody might watch a video, they may copy that build, and then later somebody else drops a video and they're like, oh, I should have made that build. So I think 2K should have a refund system where they let players refund one build, give them one chance to get the VC back that they put into a build, and then they can go put it into another build once they figure out what they're going to do. But only let them do it one time, because, you know, obviously 2K would say, well, a lot of people would exploit this if, you know, they had more than one time to do it. Then that's money that they're losing because people are getting their VC back. But I don't think it's going to hurt them that drastically if they let people do it one time. So put a refund system in place and let people refund a build one time. But with the build, we got to talk about the badges and the core progression and all that stuff. In my opinion, I think the core progression needs to be sped up a little bit. It depends on what badge you're working on, but the core progression is kind of slow. It takes a minute to core badges on 23. So if they're going to bring this back in 2K24, I think they need to speed up the core progression a little bit. And then speaking of core progression and badges and stuff, it would be nice if we could have badges that actually work. I understand before the game releases, they make changes to badges or whatever, and then they tweak things in updates for the game to different badges or whatever they need to change. But it would be nice if they could have all the badges work the way they're intended to work prior to the game releasing to all of us. Like, we already know chase down artists used to be a very good badge. 2K23 is basically non-existent because it does not work for real. It's been better in previous 2Ks, and I stand on that. This year it's like I really wanted to run chase down artists, but it barely works. On top of chase down artists not really working that well this year, paint defense is also bad. You know, in previous 2Ks we had to run certain dunk animations because others would just, we already knew it would be a block. Dunks where we bring the ball really far back behind our head, them type of dunks and animations that put the ball in a vulnerable spot where the defense can block it, we were for sure gonna get blocked on those type of dunks. But on 23, it doesn't matter what dunk animation you got. If you try to block it in the paint, it's just like the animation is too overpowered and you're not really getting blocks on dunks for real like that. Like, and we already know how the paint defense is this year. It's not the best. So it would be nice if they can find a way to improve paint defense and then make it like previous 2Ks where all these dunks are not super OP. Like, some of these dunks should be blocked. Like, I've definitely had a bunch of times where players would bring the ball super far back, well within my reach, or down to the ankles or something, and they do a 360 something right where the ball was in my reach and in my face, and I'm not getting the block. And I have a good block rating. Most of my builds have good block rating, and I'm recently been playing on my big that can get go anchor, and I'm still not getting a lot of these blocks. Another thing I think 2K should add is I think they should change up the My Career story mode, so when you make new builds, you don't have to keep starting over in the story. Like, I don't know how they could change that, but it's kind of annoying when you make a new build and you have to keep restarting the story mode over and over and over and over again. But I'm just tired of playing the same story mode. Like, we already know we make a new build, we have to play My Career to kind of grind it out, because you're gonna get, you know, you're gonna get faster progression grinding it out in My Career than trying to grind it out playing with randoms online if you don't have nobody to play with. But it's definitely just gonna be faster for you to grind some My Career, and you gotta replay the same story over and over again. So if they can change that, it would be great. Next up, I hope 2K gives us one version of the game for 2K24. Tired of current gen, I'm tired of next gen. PS5 and the new Xbox Series X and S has been out for quite a while now. The shortage of them is not as bad as it used to be, and they are readily available sitting in stores now. So it's safe to say that people can get their hands on next gen consoles. So please make one version of the game. And to follow that up, I hope 2K24 is crossplay. I don't know if 2K has any plans to make NBA 2K crossplay anytime soon, but there are other games that is crossplay. I don't remember exactly which ones they are. It might be wrestling or the golf game. I don't know. I think some of those might be crossplay, but we need crossplay for NBA 2K24, man. Us versus the Xbox, and when I say us, I mean PlayStation. Us versus the Xbox community would be dope, but crossplay, that will only work for consoles. Like, of course, they would have to leave the PC community out of it because it's just too much customization when it comes to PC. You got to worry about cheaters, you got to worry about people modding their characters and all that stuff. Like, just Xbox and PlayStation, that's all we need. Crossplay, that's all we need. 2K. This next point is about My NBA. I think what they did with My NBA Eras was great this year. I think they should bring that back, but I think they should expand upon that a little bit further. So let me tell you why. I have a video that I am definitely going to do, but I'm trying to figure out the best way to do it. So let me explain it to you so it makes sense. I want to do a what if scenario in My NBA. What if the Lakers drafted Jason Tatum instead of Lonzo Ball? I wanted them to do that, but we drafted Lonzo and we see where that got us. Not saying Lonzo is a bad player or anything, but I wish they would have personally drafted Jason Tatum instead. So I want to do that scenario in My NBA and test that out and see where it goes. But the problem comes when trying to set this up. Now, I can go into My NBA Eras and I can use a custom roster. So I can go and download a custom roster that somebody made with the 2016-2017 year. So I could do that. That's not a problem. But the problem is when I go into that, when I started, the Lakers don't have the same pick as what they had back in 2016, 2017. 2K has implemented the historic draft class. So 2K themselves, they have their own draft classes in My NBA that you can pick when you set it up. So you can choose what draft class you want to be used for that draft. So of course I picked the 2017 draft class because that's when Jason was drafted, and that's cool. 2K made that themselves, but the custom roster is made by people all over the world, whoever decides to make the rosters. But it gets complicated when I try to go in and test this scenario out, because then I don't have the Lakers draft picks from 2017. So I have to then go and try to make trades and get myself in the position to where I have the first or second pick, so I can even have a shot at drafting Jason Tatum. You know what I'm saying? So that's what makes it even more difficult. And then on top of that, if I'm trying to play out this scenario back in 2016, Like when we do this on 2K, the year still says 2023. It would be dope if the My NBA Eras lets us select what year we want to start in. So if I could just boot up My NBA, go to the My NBA Eras, and it lets me pick 2016. That's where I want to start. And it just automatically gives me the Lakers picks from back then. It updates the coaching staffs and all that without me having to use anything custom made by anybody else. If 2K put that stuff in there, it would be dope. Moving on a little bit from My NBA, my team. A big issue of mine for my team that I've been saying for a few years now that I've been getting into my team is that I think they should keep the cards that we have to grind for. You already know, if you play my team, you'll know this. The cards that we spend hours grinding for and that we have to complete all these different challenges and objectives for, those should be the best cards in the game, because it's very irritating when we put in that time, the hours, the days to get these cards, and then the next day they release some packs that people could just spend their money and buy with VC. And you know, that now makes the card that I just grinded hours or days for, it makes it obsolete. It literally just like I didn't spend time grinding for it at all, because now they've released these good cards and packs that people can buy. And again, it's a business. I understand 2K has to make their money, but it's just like, what's the point of having cards in the game that you have to grind for like that if people could just spend money and, you know, buy packs? That's just one issue that the My Team community is upset with. Like, there's a lot of stuff that the My Team community is upset about this year. Please, 2K, just please make the cards that we have to grind for. Just those should be the best cards in the game, period. If we have to spend time to grind for them like that, they need to be the best cards in the game. Like, I'm not saying stop releasing cards and packs because that's how y'all make money, but they should be a close second to those cards that we had to grind for. Don't make them better than the cards we had to grind for, but they should be almost as good as those cards. You know what I'm saying? So like, give us some options. Now, that was just a few things on my personal wish list. Now, there's probably some other stuff I haven't thought of or that will come to me later. There's just a few things that I thought of for now. Now, these next couple points I have are some things that I got from viewers off stream, or, you know, I had to hit the streets of Twitter and see what people was talking about. So we got a couple suggestions from that as well. So one thing that I heard from my viewers while streaming is they were saying they think they should remove the city. It would go back to, you know, the OG 2K days before we had the city, but, you know, I don't know what that would look like with them trying to do that now. One thing that people still have an issue with is traveling around the city. Most people probably just choose to walk because a lot of people don't feel like pulling out the skateboard, or, you know, the skateboard ain't even that fast, bro. It's really not. If I'm pressing R2 on my controller, like the skateboard, I should be moving as fast as I'm pressing my finger on this button, but that's not the case. Like, you have a capped speed on that skateboard. So, you know, they try to put these different things in the season rewards for people to, you know, get and move around the city a little bit faster, but I just don't think people are interested in that. People just want to play the game, and, you know, you got things like that, like travel, slowing people down from playing the game. And speaking of that, another thing that was suggested by a viewer is that they should remove anything that prevents us from playing the game. So what do I mean by that? You know, if you start a NBA game in my career, you cannot do anything else city related until you finish that NBA game. So if you know, one day you might be decide that you want to grind some My Career, but then the fellas hit you up or the ladies hit you up and they want to run some park or they want to run some rec, you can't do anything until you finish that NBA game. Or you have certain quests that stop you from, you know, going to the park or going to the rec. Like, it might be a certain quest that you have to complete in the arena, and you can't, like talking to somebody, for instance, you may have to talk to a certain somebody before you leave the arena, and it will not let you out of the arena. So things like that prevent us from actually playing the game, people are upset with. Another thing that I seen in the streets of Twitter, shout out to Shakedown, because these next 2 points are from him, so shout out to Shakedown. But he was saying that the rep coins should carry over each season, and I think that's something that they should implement as well. You grind the season rewards, you get those rep coins, and then you have to use them all in the same season. Why not just let them carry over? If you're spending the time to grind and get those coins, why not let us keep them and let them carry over? Now, if 2K doesn't want to do this because they don't want people to have hella rep coins stacked up in the bank, then what they could do is they could make them a little bit more rare. Like, don't put as many in the season and then let us stack them up, then people won't have as many. Another thing that Shakedown suggested is that he thinks there should be a visual representation of the boost that we get. So we already know we get a bunch of Gatorade boosts, and he really was talking about Gym Rat. Like, we grind for Gym Rat, but it's like when we play, it's really not a representation for Gym Rat. So if they can add something in for that, cool. Another thing that I seen in the streets of Twitter, man, they were saying that there should be a revamp to the creator player system. Make it more customizable, please. You know, being able to customize the body type and really get the type of body you want your player to have, or add in more things in, like better hairstyles. We still have a lot of the same hairstyles as previous 2Ks. The hairstyles should be better by now, bro. We should have plenty of hairstyles. The fades should be on point. I don't understand why we don't have this kind of stuff in the game yet. There's no reason as to why Hogwarts Legacy should have a better fade haircut in their game than what 2K has. They've been having fades and them type of hairstyles in the game for a minute now. Hogwarts Legacy, I will show y'all what my character looks like right now on the screen. This is my character from Hogwarts Legacy, and this fade is clean. And this is a game that takes place in like the 18 or the 1900s, bro. And they got this fade in here for people, like, you know, to give people different customization options and choose the way they want their character to look. This fade is clean. It looks better than some of the fades that's on 2K, if I'm being honest. So give us better hairstyles, give us better fades, and just make the player creation a lot more customizable. We just want to see a lot more. My second to last point from viewers in Twitter is that they would like to see real broadcasting networks. What do I mean? We've had people from inside the NBA and TNT, Shaq, Ernie, Chuck, Kenny. They've had these people in 2K for a while now. We're tired of seeing 2K Sports. We want to see TNT, ESPN, First Take. Give us something. We want more of that realism in the game. We want to see the TNT, the ESPN, First Take segments. We want to see all of that in 2K. They want this to be a realistic basketball game, kind of like with the experience. NBA Live had ESPN. Now I know these different contracts and stuff, like it might be more money or whatever, but 2K, please find a way to add ESPN or TNT to the game or something. And then this last point refers to My NBA. So with the My NBA, you know, they had the My NBA eras. And another suggestion that somebody had is that they would like to see dynamic aging in the My NBA stuff. If you're playing in these different eras, it makes sense for these players to look different as they go through these different eras. LeBron should not look the same as when he came into the league versus getting to this point now that he's with the Lakers. Like, he should look different as he did in real life. His body changed a little bit, you know, either he got slimmer or he bulked up a little bit. His hair is getting older, his skin is aging. Whatever the case is, we should see those changes in the game. You see it if you keep up with PC modders in 2K23. You see the type of creativity that they have when they make these player models. They age them, they get the hairstyles on point. Like, a lot, if we're being honest, a lot of these PC modders make better player models than what the generic stuff is in 2K. Like, they really need to go out and hire some of these people because they are doing a fantastic job in the realism that they're adding to the game on PC for their own experience and for other people to experience. It's very good. So it would be dope if they added that dynamic agent in there to just add to that realism. You know what I'm saying? Just make the experience better overall. So that was my wish list for NBA 2K24, man. That's what some of my viewers thought. That's what some of the people from Twitter thought. Let me know what your suggestions are for NBA 2K24. What do you want to see 2K add into the game? What do you think will make 2K24 great? Because you already know people like to troll on Twitter, and every year they say this is going to be the best 2K. What if 2K24 turns out to be the best 2K of all time? What do you think 2K needs to add to do that? And I also think it would be some good competition for 2K if somebody else came out with a basketball game and they addressed all the things that the community has been complaining about for a long time. Because then that'll force 2K's hand to kind of give the community what we've been asking for and to just make changes to the game so they can continue to be competitive. So those are my thoughts, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel down below. As always, be sure to stay safe out here, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.